Journal Entry 312. We've been moved in with the Mercenary Corps, a big series of tents on the south side of the city. There's about, 5,000 or so here, I believe, most of them from Wolf Lake refugees. Quite a lot of orcs, goblins, and wild elves, and some shifters mixed in with random adventurers and sellswords. No standardized gear for us. We have to supply everything but tents, beds, and meals. I have noticed that even the guards are now using primitive stirrups on their horses. Looks like someone was quick to recognize their usefulness and copied them. I hung around with Ian and Jason and watched the militia training with them, using cavalry charges with long spears and horseback archers. I hope they realize that arrows aren't going to do anything to stop the undead unless they've all been blessed. Oh, speaking of that, Avery ran off to the local Sun Church branch and has been doing her thing. From what I felt, they're not as bad as the Alien or the Wolf Lake branch were apparently, but needed work according to her thoughts. I don't know why she feels the need to do this, though. Last I heard, the gods of this place don't really care what you do in their name. Maybe she's hoping to change that, or maybe she already has. Journal Entry 313. Still no orders. So I took the day off and decided to look into the history of this town and see if it held any clues. We already know one Terran did settle down here eventually. I can see why. It's a nice place. Well, after some questioning some officials, the older records were stored in the Knowledge God's church, in its library. I went with Marcus, Alex, and Jason, and with some skill, talked our way in. Their library was a bit underwhelming. Mostly city documents, old legal proceedings, and census data, some history. We donated a copy of our Earth book and spent the rest of the day researching what was here. From what we gathered, 400 years ago there were several big wars going on. Humans seized control of Wolf Lake from the orcs and dwarves. A kingdom that used to border Winterfield was destroyed, sending its refugees to Alien. The trade routes apparently didn't exist back then. Kingdoms were forced to be self-sufficient. Wars were happening all over. Then something changed. It started with sudden organization of religious cults into churches and the deployment of several quote-unquote superweapons by them. Alien wasn't the only city to have a cannon. Avery had one as well. According to the documents, it was later stolen and never seen again a century later. No one knew how to build another one or even make the powder to make it work anyway, so no one bothered investigating. It looks like the last group did deploy weapons. They just kept the knowledge of how to reproduce them to themselves, unlike what we've been doing. Maybe it's time.